Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about economics and crypto and lots of other fun things. A free way you can support this channel: hit the like button, leave a comment in the comment section for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification button as well so that you don't miss a thing. And like I said, this is a channel where we talk about economics and crypto. And in this video, believe it or not, I want to talk about economics and crypto. I want to talk about them both. And the reason why I want to talk about both is because I'm reflecting on last cycle, the 2020, 2021 bull run. There was a battle going on, I would say, between the Chartists, those who purely rely on the charts, and the on-chain analyzers. And so what's on-chain analysis? It's helpful data. It's looking at a website like glassnode.com or I believe sentiment.com and just getting as much data as to what's going on-chain as possible. And so you look at things like exchange balances, like illiquid supply. There's a treasure trove of data, so much to the point that Glassnode charges, I believe, like $10,000 a year to access that data. I think it's like $800 a month, or at least that's what it was in 2021. Who knows about inflation now? And so it's good information. And what we would see on Twitter was people would post on-chain data, and then people who only posted charts would be heavily critical of people who posted the on-chain data, trying to give some kind of analysis. They said it was just straight up worthless. And I wouldn't go so far as to say it was worthless. But what I will say is that the Chartists, in the end, when it was all said and done, had the leg up over the on-chain analyzers. But you know who actually won? The ones who came above all of them were the economists. And that was kind of a backdoor thing. It was a distraction, this battle between on-chain analysts and Chartists. Between that battle, the Chartists won. This time around, what I'm getting a sense of is that we are seeing a battle between the Chartists again and the economists. And I want to remind you, I do look at the charts, but I am more of an economist than I am a chartist. And so here's what the Chartists are largely saying. Not all of them, there are a handful, but largely what they're saying is big bull run in 2025, blow off top, peak in November of 2025, 4-year halving cycle, $200,000 Bitcoin or thereabouts, yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. A lot of Chartists, at least up until recently, have been saying that. Maybe they're starting to change their tune, but it's the same thing. Lather, rinse, repeat, or whatever the saying is. Bitcoin's always done this. It's going to do this again. Let me show you some charts. And what you have on the other hand is the economists saying there's no way. And who are the economists? Well, I'm an economist. I was an economics major in college. One of my first professions out of college was as a mortgage banker. And I focused a lot on the economy. After the 2008 crash, I did a deep dive into what went wrong, and I discovered the beautiful world of Austrian economics, and I am an Austrian economist to the core, which translates somewhat to being a libertarian, a fiscal libertarian, at least. Social views, I'm going to leave out of that, but fiscal libertarian. And what I see is a whole lot of BS on both sides. I don't know if I can say BS on YouTube. I'm just going to keep going. A whole lot of BS on both sides. Democrats, Republicans, it's the same thing from the perspective of an Austrian economist. They're both terrible. Now, I have stronger opinions about one party than the other in terms of negativity, because I don't have positive opinions all that much about either party. But anyway, I'm alienating everyone here, right? Economists, let me get back on track, okay? The economists versus the Chartists. And what the economists believe, let me show you a chart. There it is. The economists look at what's happened every time after rate cuts historically, and what you're seeing on this chart is an overlay of the last 4 major rate cuts after significant increases in rates. So I'm not talking about 1998 or 1995 when they cut rates a little bit, but mostly kept them elevated. I'm talking about significant rate cuts after significant rate increases. And historically, what you see is a stock market, because crypto didn't exist in the 80s, a stock market that has generally gone down pretty aggressively after the initial rate cuts. We've had, on average, something like 25 days of upward movements, and then it was pretty much over for the Dow Jones, at least, and for the S&P 500, and then it went down pretty hard. And what the Chartists are telling you is that they're not looking at that at all. They're just looking at the charts, and they're not looking at things like this and making judgments on it. They just care about the charts. And so what the charts say is epic bull run in 2025. And the Economists, I am quite convinced, I'm very convinced. I hope I'm wrong. I am just really convinced that the Chartists are just wrong. Yes, they beat out the Glassnode, the on-chain analysts last time around, and maybe they feel a little bit cocky. I mean, really, the people who purely pay attention to the charts, they are quite arrogant for the most part. But this time around, I am telling you, they're wrong. They are wrong. So what could this look like? It could look like the stock market peaking sometime after the first rate cuts, a month or two after the first rate cuts, and then going down. And then after the stock market peaks, that there would be some kind of rotation into smaller, or maybe around the time the stock market peaks, there would be a rotation into more riskier assets like the Russell 2000 smaller cap stocks, like crypto in general. And then we would have a brief period of time where we could rally, Bitcoin could hit a new all-time high, Bitcoin's dominance could plummet. And then, when would we realize that it's over? I would think something like 6 months after the peak, because you got to understand, it's not like the day of the peak we're going to realize, oh, that was the peak. No, we'll still have some time, and there's still going to be plenty of opportunities during those 6 months going into 2025 for something borderline exciting, dare I say borderline euphoria. I don't think we're going to reach peak euphoria, but on the other side of that, I believe, is a lot of people getting wrecked. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to at least take that into consideration. And so somebody asked me a question on X right before I hit record on this video. And I think the advice that I gave, the non-financial advice at least that I gave to this particular person, I think should be applicable to all of us, and I'm including myself in this. So this person asked a question. What would you think if I sold 50% of my portfolio in 2024 by the end of 2024 and then held on for 2025 just in case there was a parabolic rally and essentially the Chartists being right? And my response to him was that if he can lock in moderate gains by the end of 2024 by only selling half of his portfolio, then sure, you know what? Why not? Personally, for me, I am not going to be one of those people. I expect no matter what happens between now and the end of 2024 to be about 90% out of my crypto by the end of this year. Now, I'll follow the market. Whatever happens in the market, I will just follow its lead, but that is my plan as of right now. And so I hope for 2024 that things just go straight up and it's just the most amazing fireworks close to this year, because no matter what, I'm 90% out. And then a decent amount of that money is going to be transferred to a trading portfolio, and I will be looking to make decent gains by longing when it seems like we should be longing, and by shorting when it seems like we should be shorting. I think meme coins can have an extended run into 2025, maybe peaking in January or February, maybe even March, something like that. And so there's going to be plays. It's not like I'm just going to be sitting on dollars. I mean, dollars are trash. The US dollar is garbage. So why would I want to be holding dollars? But I want to lock something in. And personally, that's my goal for 2024, is to just lock in moderate gains. I would love to pay my kids' tuition at school, pay it off entirely. We'll see. $29,000. Anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week, and I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.